Andrew, as we look toward 2022, we are probably something in the range of 4 to 6 weeks away from spring practice. Defensive line, we discussed that before we started to record in regards to a position that gets hit hard with some key players leaving. Your thoughts about, and we're going to know so much more once we get through spring practice and headed toward August, but your initial thoughts about some candidates to step in and fill the void.
Yeah, so that's going to be a key one because if you look at it, they're having to replace DeMarvin Leal, Jaden Peavy, and Michael Clemens, who were three key contributors from last season, and so that's probably the biggest group. But they've got a really strong signing class that they've brought in. You look at guys like Anthony Lucas and Walter Nolan and Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy and Eni White, Malik Silla. They've really reloaded that group, and Shamar Stewart would obviously, kind of complete that. But they've also got a lot of guys still on campus. Guys like McKinley Jackson and Tyree Johnson and Shamar Turner, who is a big signee from the past class and was in the rotation last season. Tanmisha Adelaide was a guy that redshirted last year, but I know A&M is really high on him. Isaiah Rakes is another guy that could take a step forward, and Elijah Judy as well is another name. So they've got a lot of names. They got a lot of depth, but it's going to be a chance for those guys this spring to kind of step forward because there'll be some spots to claim. I don't think the group is necessarily in bad shape. It's just you gotta have guys kind of step forward, talented kids in high school, kind of take that step and learn. Obviously it's going to be an area that they're gonna they're not going to be as strong when you lose a guy like DeMarvin Leal, but they still have the potential to be really, really good.
Between Leal, Clemens, and Peavy, I'm counting up 31 tackles for loss and 17 and a half sacks. So to your point, if you look at the recruiting rankings, there's not going to be a drop-off in talent. It's just productivity, and these guys are proven versus the guys that are going to step in.
Exactly. And I think when you look at a guy like Walter Nolan, I mean, just what he's been able to do playing at the Under Armour All-American game, I mean, he just moves so well for his size, and he even played a little running back at times last year for Powell, and you just don't get athletes like that very often. And so I think A&M's in great shape. I mean, Walter Nolan checked in at 6'4", 325, but just his athleticism and the way he moves for his size was just really, really impressive. I know he made a really strong case to be the number one player in the 2022 class, and Travis Hunter is an incredible athlete on himself. I've had the chance to see him in 7-on-7 action, and he's a special player as well. But Walter Nolan has all the makings of a star from what we saw during the All-American practices and the games.